Good afternoon, this is Lynx. I am doing a video here that someone messaged me and asked me specifically to do a video on this topic, and it is a topic that I think a lot of people have questions about. So this is a video on how to do a reading for yourself, or should you do a reading for yourself. There is this debate that's been going on whether or not you should read for yourself. I do read for myself all the time. I know others who do read for themselves very successfully all the time. My answer to should you read for yourself is it depends. Can you get yourself out of the way enough to be able to get the accurate information? If so, then yes, you can and should read for yourself. But one of the things that happens if you're in a state, so for example, a lot of times something will happen, you'll be in a very emotional state about it, either positively or negatively. You'll be excited about something, or you'll be upset about something, afraid, fearful, and that will affect the reading. Specifically because when you're in a fearful state or an over-emotional state, that will affect where you're headed. So you will get a reading that shows where you're headed at that moment in that state. So if you're in a highly fearful state, you're likely to end up in a lot more unpleasant place than if you were more calm about whatever the situation is. So that said, be aware that your emotions do color what you're going to see in the cards, because the cards are going to reflect like a mirror where you're headed at the moment in that particular state. So if you're over emotional about, say, you meet someone new and you're all excited about that, it's going to color things as well. So if you can get yourself out of the way enough to detach from the emotion, to get a clear observation of what's going on in the cards, by all means. I'm going to show you a couple of methods here that you can use, or a couple of things that you can do specifically to get a better read for yourself when you're in a place where you're not sure about what the outcome is. People tell me all the time that they're like, and I get a lot of readers who come to me because the situation will be very highly charged and they can't get a clear read for themselves, so they'll come to me. A lot of clients come to me that way. So I have a lot of experience on both sides of this, doing it for myself and doing it for others. So a lot of people will tell you simply to meditate, but this is where meditation can be tricky. If you're not trained in meditation, or you don't really understand what the goal is for your meditation, if you go in hoping to calm yourself down, but all you're doing is sitting and with your eyes closed and building more and more about the situation that you're upset about, for example, you're just going to make it worse. It's going to build. So if you don't know what to do with that energy that's building up, you are likely to make it worse by sitting and sort of stewing in it, as it were. So if you know how to meditate, if you're trained in meditation, put yourself in a place where you can completely detach. Go for a walk, go work it off, get it out first. So the first thing I'm going to say is get yourself out of the way, and the first recommendation I have is take a deep breath and make sure that you're completely calm before you throw the cards, before you ask the question, and then be very specific in the question that you ask, because if you just throw it in a state of panic or a heightened emotional state, the cards will tend to reflect that, and you can be very confused by what you see. So my first recommendation, I got 5 things here that you can do to get a better read. The first recommendation is do not read when you're in that state. Put the cards down, go do something else. Put your mind on something else. Let things start to work themselves out a little better. Do your best to stay calm. Breathe and stay calm, and come back to do the reading only after you're sure that you have your emotions under control and you're in a calm state. You're much more likely to get a better read when you're in a calm state. Now, I wrote down my notes here for this. The second one I'm going to suggest is putting yourself in the alpha state. Once you've got yourself in the calm state, you can actually trigger an alpha state from which to read from. Don't necessarily have to read from this state, or some people do it more naturally because they've been reading for a very long time. it may help to get you out of the way more so that you're not hooked up in you wanting a certain outcome or the emotion. So what you can do is you can close your eyes and you can look upward, look like you're looking all the way up at the back of your head. Put your eyes all the way up like you're looking at the back of the head. Take a deep breath in. Release all of that tension and all of that chaos and all of those emotions as you breathe out. And then once you're in the alpha state, go ahead and start your reading. Okay? So, my next suggestion is to use an oracle to see where you're at, and I'm going to show you how to do this in a couple of cases using a couple different oracles. I've got an oracle specifically that I like to use for that I've designed. This is my Lucky Links Love Oracle. This shows where your heart's at. So let's say I do a reading here. Where's my heart? You want to make sure that your heart's in the right place, as it were. So I'd say, where's my heart? And then let's say I wrote, where's my heart? And the change came up, so it's in a changing state. So be aware that I'm reading from a place of change in a changing state, and everything that you read is going to be influenced by that. If it comes up, the broken heart might mean that you're not connected to yourself. Don't do the reading right now. Wait until you can get it where you're in a place where you're not in that state where you're disconnected from yourself. This one is the love-struck heart. It might mean that I'm enthusiastic or highly excited or really excited about something. Be aware that the reading's going to be colored by that. The one I'm looking for here is the spirit heart. That means I'm kind of centered in my heart. When you're centered in your heart, you're going to have the best reads. You can use another oracle. So for example, this is my Black Cat Oracle. So I'm going to look for the man in this one, and I'm going to ask, where am I in the state for this read? Am I in the right place to do this reading? So I'm going to shuffle the cards, and I'm going to see where the man is and what's on top of the man. I showed you how to do this in another video. So I'm looking for the man. Once I find the man, he'll tell me where, okay, so. All right. So in this particular case, I would say this is not a good place to read from because the individual is sort of kind of not wanting to move from where they're at. So if it was the woman, where is she? Okay. She's in a kind of a prideful state, or she's concerned about her reputation. Okay, so those of you who have Lenormand, you can do the same thing. You can use this one specifically, the Black Cat specifically tells me where a person's mind is at. So I like to use those for reads too, because they tell me where my mind's at when I'm doing a read. And that gives me the power to be able to change my mind or the state of my mind to get a different kind of outcome should I choose it. Remember as you do this that no outcome is fixed unless you want it to be fixed. You can change outcomes quite often just by changing your attitude and changing where you're coming from. In some cases things may be kind of certain. This is going to be the outcome, but you can certainly change how you experience that by your attitude, your mood. So keep that in mind. Your attitude and your mood will influence everything here. All right, so this one, so let's say a woman, she's looking at how she, what state she's in. So what state am I in for this reading, or am I in the state to be able to do a reading? So ask the cards. I'm looking for the woman. She's in a state of optimism and hope. So she's in a state of optimism and hope, and I'd say, yeah, this is a pretty good place to do a read from because she's in a state of optimism and hope, and she's in a positive place. So that's a good place to do a reading from. So let's say the man's doing it. I'd look for the man. He's in the state of the sun. So that's a good place to come from. So, if you got playing cards, you can do that too. Let's say a woman's a queen of diamonds. She sees herself, pick a significator. So it's like, okay, she's a queen of diamonds. What state is she in to do a reading? So I'm looking for the queen of diamonds and see where she's at. Okay. So king of spades. So it might be that she's very focused on this individual that she wants to read about, or the influence of this person is affecting her, so that might not be the best place to do a read from. So you can do the same thing with the tarot. You can pick one of the court cards and then see where you're at. So ask yourself, where am I at for this reading? So you get a clear sense of how that's going to influence the spread. So that's only if you feel like you need some help in getting through this. Now, because you're afraid that the read's going to be confused or things are being confused, or if you see that the reading's confused, you don't understand, do this. Say, hey, where am I at? That'll give you a better sense. I'd like to say one more thing before I give you the next option here to do in this case. In a lot of cases, individuals won't want to see good things for themselves just as easily as they don't want to, or just as surely as they don't want to see bad things for themselves. They'll see a positive outcome coming and they don't believe that that's possible for themselves, or they don't believe in the situation, or they can't see at the moment how that could possibly be. So they skew things in the favor of a negative outcome instead. So it's not always that people become confused by the possibility of a negative outcome, or they're afraid to see a negative outcome or a certain outcome in the card. Sometimes they'll see the outcome they want to see and they'll convince themselves that can't be. I must not be reading this right. So ask yourself, are you actually being honest with yourself that what is coming is really a positive outcome and you're just not believing it? The other case too is that a lot of times when people do things like relationship readings or readings for their career or whatever, they want to see a certain outcome. They don't see it. They keep asking the cards over and over again because they're not getting the outcome they want. And they get more and more confused. Those of you who are professional readers, I'm sure you've seen this with some of your clients. Sometimes you'll have clients who actually, you'll tell them that this is what's coming, and they'll try to they'll ask a question 50 different ways. It still keeps coming up that way. That's the kind of thing. If you find yourself doing that, be aware that you're probably not going to get the best read for yourself because you're at that moment not in a place where you can hear that information, see that information, or accept that information, in which case one of these techniques might help you to get past that. So another thing that you might want to do when you find yourself becoming confused or feeling overwhelmed in a reading, or you're not sure what the outcome's going to be, or if whatever else is influencing you, your emotions, your mind, whatever, use one card only. Limit the amount of information that can be fed into you, because quite frankly, in those states, you're already overloaded. There's a lot of times people will be very confused about a situation, they're freaked out about a situation, they'll throw 15 cards in a big grand, or they'll throw a grand tableau for themselves, when it would be much easier just to throw one card. They're already overloaded with what's going on in their mind and all the emotions, and they throw all of this interpretation on top of it, which makes it much more confusing, in which case, read one card. So you've got someone who's got some career problems going on, they're wondering what's going to happen now with their career, how to get more business in, or if they're going to get what they need. Okay, ask one card. Okay, so the six, this is the six of coins here, not the cups, this is the coins, 6 of coins. So I'd look at it now and I'd say, all right, so first of all, this person needs to be generous with themselves. The fact that the children are in the card, and I'm going to use this method that I used in other videos where I showed you how you get a spooky accurate read by seeing what stands out. The kids here are telling me that the individual needs to take a more fun approach, have more fun with it, because they're not having fun. They need to take that childlike exuberance and wonder, because that will actually jumpstart things for them. They need to be generous with themselves, and they need to give something out there to others to create the space for something new to come in for themselves. Also, the tents are standing out in the background, which means don't isolate yourself, don't seclude yourself, get out there and actually tell people and show people what you do. So this limits the amount of information that you get coming in by doing only one card. You won't be overwhelmed with a big, huge spread. If you feel yourself overwhelmed and confused already, why throw 15 more cards on top of it? It's just going to make it harder. So use one card in that case, get as much as you can from that card, and then leave that there for a little while. Go reflect on it. Don't think about it. Don't keep going over and over in your head. Go do something else. Put yourself in another place where you're completely occupied with something else. Let your subconscious work it out. Come back and actually look at it again. See if anything else comes up. A lot of times the answer will be right there. Boom, pops when you look at it, let things work themselves out, come back, boom, there it is. Okay, so that's how you do the one card. And then the final one that I'm going to show you is take an action-based approach. So instead of saying what's coming my way, you would say, okay, in this situation with this relationship, is it going to work out? And then you ask yourself, what can I do to make a connection with this person? 1, King of Coins would be the person that you're interested in. 2, find his interest and his values. 3, and show them that you two are compatible by sharing his interest, his values, and meeting him there. And then you'll balance the situation and more likely create an attraction by showing him that you guys are compatible. And then you could ask yourself, what should I not do in that case? And then ask that. And then I'm going to ask one card for this. Don't let them know all your security fears, or don't make this about securities. I've got to be with you because I want all my security to come from this relationship. That's sure enough to get this man to run in the other direction, which you see all the time with people. They'll see someone that want to be with that person, and all of a sudden all their security fears and everything that I got to have this person because they meet my security need, and then boom, it's, you know. So show this person that you have a value, that you can bring value to the relationship. You're more likely to make this relationship happen. So then it's not a case of, is this going to work out? Is this not going to work out? It puts everything back in your hands, and in an action-based approach that gives you actions to move forward with to get the outcome you want, in which case you're actually taking control of your destiny rather than letting destiny mop the floor with you, as it were. So I am Lucky Links. That is how you do it. I hope these 5 approaches help you to get past those little snafus that come up when you try to read for yourself, those snags that come up when you try to read for yourself. There are ways to move around it. That's cool. Try any one of these and see how they work for you. And as always, I'm wishing you success and good fortune in all you do. If you find yourself overwhelmed in a situation and you want some help in reading it, please, by all means, give me a call, 779-302-7... I just forgot my phone number again. 779-302-8009. That's it. 772. Yeah, I'll put it in the thing below. Or you can conjure hope at gmail.com, and I can do a reading for you. I can tell you my rates and my availability, and we can set something up. So again, wishing you success and good fortune in all you do. If you have any questions, put them in the thing below, and I will do my best to answer them. If you have some question that you want me to do a video about, message me, and I'll see what I can do.